accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Day one, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Join the movement. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Wallace, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line. You can call in or text in to chime in on today's conversation. Or you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in 101.7 The Truth on YouTube, and you can watch and stream us live on the YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share, and give us a subscribe as well. In addition to that, make sure you download the award-winning 1017 The Truth app as well today. Listen to us live there. Shout out to my producer, Rhea Riley, back on the ones and the twos.
Hello, everybody.
And shout out to you, Truth Nation. I got a little goodie bag. Got a little goodie bag from the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know if y'all can see this. You go to 1017 The Truth on the stream. Look at this nice little hat here. This is the NLCS. The Brewers advanced to the NLCS where they lost, sadly, yesterday 2-1, but we still in it. Great game. Got a nice little hat. I don't really wear hats, Rhea. Have you ever seen me with a hat on?
I definitely have not.
Yeah, I don't really wear hats, but I got too much hair on the front. The front of the hat is nice, and then I don't know. I think backwards it look decent. Do it look decent? Look backwards. Oh, should I look like a kid from Recess? I don't look like no thug. YN, man, who was I with? Oh, man, I was somewhere. Never mind. People be listening. But again, this is Truth to Power here. I'm excited to be here. Go Brewers. And today's conversation, I want to focus on birthdays. Now, last week I talked about birthday monkey song, but this is something completely different. Today, Truth Nation, I just want us to understand what today is, and not as it's a significant day, but I just want us to really remind ourselves of what we should be doing and how we can take negative energy and turn it into positive energy, as we can take tragedy and turn it into triumph, right? And so, Truth Nation, as some people will take today to remember and value one man's life more than they want to remember, others people's lives. And with that, people remembering one man's life today, because it's somebody's birthday, it's many people's birthday, many people, I mean, probably thousands and thousands of people's birthday, but for some reason today, there's going to be one individual that is going to be raised up on a pedestal higher than others. So with that, I also want to remember who this man was, and I want y'all to remember who this man was. Today, many conservatives will remember the life of someone they did not know in Charlie Kirk. Now, a life of a man that they want to paint as this picture of perfection and something that should be followed, but in reality, they are deliberately ignoring some of the divisive language and hateful comments that were made during this man's life. An individual who gaslit many people by leaning into racial stereotypes, bigotry, intolerance, and just the spreading of falsities, which is something we should not do and we should not stand for. See, today, Truth Nation, the whack jobs who are out of touch, conservatives who care more about protecting their whiteness than protecting children will celebrate the birthday of George Floyd, of Charlie Kirk, which is the same day of George Floyd's birthday, which is interesting. And trust me, I've heard some folks on some different places getting very upset about some folks bringing that to light. Now, someone they believe died of political violence in Charlie Kirk, which he did, and something no one should stand for. I agree. Political violence is something that we should not stand for, and we should condemn every opportunity that we get. Any type of violence should be condemned. We just talked about yesterday how a young African-American man in Milwaukee lost his life due to violence, due to not controlling our emotions, due to going off instead of having a conversation and being more civil. An individual lost his life in Milwaukee over the week, or I should say last week. We had a conversation about that. So violence is something we should never, ever want to have. But at the same time, as we talk about political violence, the issue that I have is as people will celebrate Charlie Kirk's birthday today, we'll get into that a little bit. It's also George Floyd's birthday as well. But at that same time, these people are talking about political violence from one side. A lot of these people want to acknowledge who Melissa Hortman was. Melissa Hortman was an actual state representative from Minnesota, or I should say a politician from Minnesota, who also died of political violence. Melissa Hortman was an actual politician who fought for legislation and fought for policies to actually change and positively impact lives. She fought for the rights of all Minnesotans through legislation, not through hate rhetoric, not through gaslighting people, not through negativity, not through turning people against one another, not from demeaning comments. See, Melissa Hortman utilized legislation and utilized her position of power to advocate for reform such as gun rights reform, police reform, environmental rights, abortion rights. And unfortunately, because of the things she advocated for, which helped to grab a hold, not hate, not divisive language, but actual things that could help people, she was gunned down and killed by a raging Republican named Vance Bolter, who had a whole list of people that he wanted to kill, which included other politicians, one including our representative here in Milwaukee. Gwen Moore was on that list. That is political violence. But I haven't really heard too much pushback about that. And most of the people who are anti-political violence, and today we'll be celebrating Charlie Kirk's birthday, couldn't even tell you when Melissa Hortman's birthday is, and a lot of them don't even know who she is. But they swear up and down they are anti-all political violence. So today when you see Donald Trump, or I say the joke of the president in Trump, who will honor Charlie Kirk with the highest civilian medal that a civilian can get, distinguished that a civilian can get with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, we must remember that this man verbatim said, a patriot should bail out the man who broke into the house of Speaker Nancy Pelosi and committed political violence against her husband by attacking him with a hammer, and he asked for that person to be bailed out. We also have to remember the man, again, in Charlie Kirk, who shares the same birthday as George Floyd, consistently spread lies about George Floyd's death, lies about what the medical examiner said. And even after having to be corrected and correcting it on a site, would still go to college campuses and say that George Floyd's the medical examiner in George Floyd's case declared it an overdose, when in fact it was declared a homicide, and the acts of the police officers who on that day caused for him to have lung failure and heart failure and called for them to start functioning as the cause of his death. Charlie Kirk is so undeserving of such a distinguished honor to be bestowed upon him, such as this Presidential Medal of Freedom. I can think of so many people right here in Milwaukee, in the community that I love, that deserve to have that more than this individual. I can think of Tori Lowe, who does a show 1 to 4 right here on the award-winning 101 7 to 2, who has made a significant more of an impact on people's lives. When somebody loses a family member, they didn't call Charlie Kirk, they called Tori Lowe. When somebody is missing a family member, they didn't call Charlie Kirk, they called Tori Lowe. When a young man out in Iowa County of Wisconsin gets pushed up against a meat grinder and gets hit on and assaulted by white folks out that way, they called up Tori Lowe. So what I'm saying is, if we just giving out these Presidential Medal of Honors or Medal of Freedoms, we need to make sure that we're giving it to people who are deserving, who truly impact people's lives in a positive way. So my recommendation for today, Truth Nation, and for these weirdos and these weird conservatives who have selective outrage and selective compassion, instead of spending so much time trying to martyr a man who did not truly live his life as our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ would want us to live, and I am one who falls short of that as well. I admit that. I would never want somebody to put me on a pedestal. Tori must have heard me say that he needs a Presidential Medal of Freedom of Honor because he just popped in here today. More than deserving than this dude, Charlie Kirk. But as I was saying, we should take today to remember those who have lost their lives to gun violence, as Charlie Kirk did. We should take today to try to unify behind something that we all can get behind, such as reducing the gun violence and thinking about the victims of gun violence in this country. Last year, over 700 people in the state of Wisconsin were victims of gun violence. And that comes across whether you get murdered or whether you die by suicide. But gun violence is something we should think about. We should try to curb. Did you know in 2023, every 11 minutes in 2023, somebody died of gun violence in this country? So just to put this in perspective, during Truth to Power, this hour show, there will be 5 people who will lose their lives to gun violence in this country in just an hour. That is horrific, and it has to stop. And so this is why I say we can take today, where y'all want to remember somebody's birthday who was a victim of gun violence, which he was a victim of gun violence. Y'all want to remember him, but from a hateful place, from a place of separating our country, from a place of being divisive, from a place of ignoring the comments. Instead of focusing on the life that he lived, let's focus on how he died to ensure that nobody else has to fall victim like he did. Let's make sure that we take today to talk about gun violence and celebrate the birthday that some of y'all want to celebrate, and turning it into a real day of change where we can focus on how we can reduce gun violence and create less victims. How can we create less wives becoming widows who are suffering in agony. Less fatherless children out here who can no longer go play with their dad or call on their dad's name. Less parents, mothers, and fathers who have to deal with the pain that nobody ever wants to have to do in burying their child or live a life where they outlive their child. Enduring pain no one has to endure. Let's focus on that. And on this day, instead of thinking of one man, let's think about the fact of this, that there have been 53 school shootings in the United States so far this year as of September 23rd. 27 were on college campuses and 26 were in K through 12 schools. And this has led to 19 people dying and at least 80 plus folks being injured, victims of violence. Let's turn this day into a day of change, a movement for good and a movement for all. How do we move past this nonsense? It's by moving together and finding a common cause we all can get behind. The death of Charlie Kirk should not be about what he said, what he did, why you support him. The death of Charlie Kirk should be about the fact that somebody in this country again had their life taken by a gun. That's what today should be about. Today should be about George Floyd losing his life, regardless of the life that he lived when he was on this earth, whether you agreed or disagreed with some of the choices. Regardless of whatever his rap sheet was, nobody deserves to die like that. Today should be a day that we have a conversation and discussion about real police reform, of how we can ensure that citizens can be apprehended by the police in a safe way that does not lead to their death. So we don't have incidents where a USPS postal worker has a medical emergency when he's arrested and pees himself and lays on the ground in pain, and the officers just look at him as if he's just having a reaction to a drug overdose versus him actually dying from what I believe was a stroke. That's what we should be able to do. Turn tragedy into triumph. That's what this should be about. 833-212-1017. I do want to know, do y'all think it's appropriate for Charlie Kirk to get a Presidential Medal of Freedom? The highest civilian honor, which is typically reserved for those who have made extraordinary change and impact in people's lives, like the likes of Mother Teresa, Rosa Parks, Duke Ellington, with the cultural impact that he made. 833-212-1017. I want to hear your thoughts, because as today people celebrate the birthday with a Presidential Medal of Honor of Freedom, and people having all these moments of celebration, and do what you want, but let's just try to find a way to actually, instead of standing outside remembering a person who I wasn't that great of a person, a human being, based off the rhetoric he said, we should look to take this day to really advocate for how we can help people. We shouldn't be caring about red or blue or wherever you vote. We should be caring about how we can actually utilize a day like today, where two individuals that, some people would say are controversial, both have a birthday and both died in tragic ways. And how can we utilize the power within their names that they have to advocate for positive change for all? That is what I'm asking for. But 833-212-1017, I do think it's absolutely ridiculous that the president is giving Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That is something that he is not deserving of. I can say that with a straight face. He is not deserving of that honor. You cannot say and do the things that you did and make the comments that you make and believe that you deserve a Presidential Medal of Freedom. That is an honor for individuals who actually positively impact people's lives. Hell, I was against some folks getting it. I believe Liz Cheney got it. She shouldn't have gotten that. But again, 833-212-1017. I want to hear from you. I'll take your calls. I'll take your texts. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I didn't want to let this day go by without having a conversation about the fact that today people will celebrate the birthday of George Floyd and people will celebrate the birthday of Charlie Kirk. And y'all can celebrate whatever y'all want, the memory however you want, but I think that within the power of their names, there's something bigger. There's something bigger where they don't have to die in vain, and they don't have to die where people are so hateful on each side. Maybe we can come together to advocate for real change that can truly impact people's lives for the better. So I'll take your calls, I'll take your texts, but then also I want to continue this conversation on the other side about what inspires you, what politically motivates you. How did you become so politicized? How did you become the person that had the beliefs or the morals that you had? Because I am curious about that, because I did some pondering myself when I read all these articles and I see all these different things, and it makes me think inward, look inward. But I do want to hear from y'all on that one. But again, 833-212-1017. Do y'all think that Charlie Kirk should have been given the Presidential Medal of Freedom today, the highest honor for a civilian, by Donald Trump tonight? This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll have more on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Aww.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because their home policies help protect your dreams and come with a peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote from an agent at amfam.com. Product not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, assigned as operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette Hilltoppers football. Join The Truth next Friday night as the Hilltoppers look to finish the season strong as they take on the Germantown Warhawks. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.G. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
Tracy, going back to the process, and as it relates specifically to the partnership that Old National Bank has with Housing Resource, what does the process consist of when coming through this program?
You know, it's a referral process. We work with clients that first-time homeowners that may not have the counseling that they need. They may not have the equity, the down payment that they need. So we refer them to our partners like HRI or Housing Resources, Inc., because we recognize that those organizations, they have the resources, they have the tutorial documentation and all of those things that are necessary for first-time homeowners that don't know the process, may not know the system, may not know what's required for home ownership. So working with Housing Resources, Inc. and other partnerships that we have like through WIDA has been very, very advantageous, not only for us, but also the organizations, but also for the community.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Wallace, your host of Truth to Power, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. Today, we're having a conversation talking about today is the birthday of George Floyd and of Charlie Kirk, and today Charlie Kirk will be getting the Medal of Freedom, Presidential Medal of Freedom, from Donald Trump, which I believe he is completely undeserving of it. Somebody said, well, he died from freedom, for talking about freedom of speech. Well, sure, there's a lot of people who have died from freedom of speech, so maybe everybody should get one, right? Why isn't Melissa Hortman getting one? That's my whole thing, is that we're being extremely selective about this, but the way that you live your life also. If you have some things in your past, like I would never sit here and say, oh, George Floyd should get a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Hell no. Hell, Kyle Wallace don't deserve a Presidential Medal of Freedom. The way you live your life should contribute to what you get. You shouldn't just be honored because it's politics. You should be honored for the way that you lived your life in a positive way and impacting others, because that's what life is all about. Is how can you reach one, teach one, and leave this place better than what you found it. And I never forget, when I was working in the higher education, I remember going to Bradley Tech High School, and they had some alumni come back and talk to the students. There was somebody who said their whole goal in life is to make sure that they are making a positive impact, helping and teaching others, so that the impact that they have lasts beyond their life. So 50 years from now, the difference that they made will still be felt. And that resonated with me because I fully understand that my grandparents, who are no longer on this earth, instilled in me certain values and beliefs and teachings that I'm going to pass down to a generation that they will not see. And I hope and pray when my time is up on this earth and I'm blessed hopefully with children and grandchildren, whatever the Lord has for me, nieces, nephews, cousins, whatever it is, what I hope is that I will impact the generation in a positive way that I will not see. That is what life is about, positively impacting those around you. But again, you can watch the streamers live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But if you have any thoughts or comments on today's conversation, you can always call in at 833-212-1017. Al, Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Well, my thoughts is don't nothing come positive from ignorant, barbaric race trash, okay? That is the low of the low, and the only reason people stand with them because they nothing but a snake and a born-raised son of a biscuit-eating bastard. He wasn't nothing alive, and as he sit in the grave and rot with maggots, he's still a racist piece of trash. And when you racists come to the time when you're about to drop, just remember, you're a bastard, and may you and your spirit and your soul rot. F you be and enjoy your life, because you're nothing but a bastard and a trash, just like the people who created you, and you're still at the bottom of the barrel. Have a great day.
All right. Al has spoken his truth. 833-212-1017. Again, that is the Truth Talking text line. You can call in, you can text in, and share your thoughts on today's conversation. But again, I just felt like it was important for me to recognize that I got this hat on. Does this hat look okay, Rhea? I'm not a hat person. Does this look fine or do I look silly? Do I look silly wearing a hat on the inside?
You look fine.
I look fine. Okay, I'm not a hat guy. You know, funny story. I got to get back on track. But funny story is like, so before I had dreads, you know, in my head, my head is shaped fine, but like, I know that in the middle of my head, it's not like super round. It's a small little divot in the middle of it.
Your soft baby spot didn't grow in.
Yeah, maybe that's probably what it was. So I mean, it's not noticeable like that. But when you rub your head, you can feel it. And so I just didn't. When I didn't have long hair, don't care. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't have that, I never wore hats because I didn't think they looked right. But I don't know. So I'm not really that much of a hat guy. Plus, I just got lined up, too. So I should, I want to look, I want to show off my fresh line. I went to the barbershop yesterday. My barber was telling me how they was listening to the show. It's pretty cool. My barber was telling me how they was listening to the show yesterday. And then, the one thing is when people listen to you, which I'm cool with, people always want to talk to you about their opinions, which I love. I truly do love. But when I went to Steinhoffel's, folks was talking to me. I love it. I mean, I love what I do. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, yes, Rhea, I heard what you said in my ear. That is very true. Very, very true. But again, 833-212-1017. We did have a conversation talking about Charlie Kirk. But now I do want to transition on because it is his birthday and George Floyd's birthday, and only one of them's getting the Presidential Medal of Honor or Freedom, and I don't think either of them deserve that whatsoever. I think the lives that they both lived, and I feel like Charlie Kirk left more of a negative taste in my mouth, and I think many people's mouths, than others, and I think it should be very, very telling for those who hear Charlie Kirk and like some of the things that he says, but then disregard some of the negative things that he said. Hate, there's no place for hate in this world. I'm so serious. There's no place for hate. But I did want to transition over as we talk about people's beliefs. I would like to know something from you, Truth Nation, and I'm gonna get Rhea in this at some point. But where does your moral and political belief system come from? 833-212-1017. What inspired you to fight or advocate for what you do? That is something that I'm very interested in because with the birthday being today and people doing what they're doing and just the political climate of everything has made me really think about what really pushes people to believe what they believe, advocate what they advocate for. What makes you choose the side that you support? Why are so many African Americans siding with Democrats, right? Why does your vision of America resonate more morally, socially, or politically with one side than the other? Where does that come from? And I understand I do a lot of talking because I get paid to do a lot of talking. That's what I get paid to do. But I also love to observe. If you see me out and about, a lot of times I'm just observing. I am not one that is asking for all the attention everywhere. That's just not my flow. I'm a pretty shy dude if I do not know you. I'm not one who's asking for all that. And I like listening. And what I have found from these observations and drawing conclusions is the fact that I've always been fascinated about how people operate and how people draw certain conclusions. It's always baffling to me. But before we go on to that, I have an interesting call here. 833-212-1017. Mark in Milwaukee has a good question for me, and I'm very interested to hear his perspective. Mark in Milwaukee, y'all want to listen to this. Mark in Milwaukee, you have a question for me that I may not be able to answer.
Okay, yeah, I want to question, George Floyd, as tragic as it was that he died, it's tragic when anyone dies. But if he hadn't died and you don't know who he was, why would you be idolizing this man? Would you want him to be a role model for your child?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So why are you trying to make him out to be a great person, or
Can you explain to me? Are you talking about
Charlie
me?
Kirk didn't kill anybody. He didn't preach hate. I don't think.
No, he definitely preached some things that were very anti, a lot of bigotry. He made a lot of negative stereotypes. But can I ask you a question, Mark? Are you asking me personally about George Floyd?
Sure.
About why I did something with George Floyd? Or are you talking about just in general people?
Well, you and general people, like your last caller.
Yeah.
Classy caller. A lot of nice language.
Well, I'll say
I'll support somebody like that.
I'll say this, Mark. I personally said that neither George Floyd or Charlie Kirk deserve anything close to a presidential Medal of Freedom. I don't think, and I said also that regardless of what George Floyd did in his life, that I disagree with some of the things, some of his actions, and I'm sure he has some demons that he was fighting. Nobody deserves to die like that, but I never once whatsoever said that the lifestyle that he lived was anything that I would want my children to look up to at all. Because personally, not my cup of tea whatsoever, some of the things that he did in his life, just like the way that Charlie Kirk lived his life and some of the divisive language that he had and anti-Muslim and talking about, bailing out somebody who beat somebody with a hammer. Those are the type of things that's just a rhetoric that I really don't jive with that well. So I agree with you. I don't think anybody should idolize George Floyd.
We've got too much hate going on in this country. We should be beyond this. We should be on the.
I agree.
The days of. I grew up in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and I think racial disparity has gotten so much worse in the last 25 years. We should be getting better. We should be evolving as a society. The political structure of the country, it's driven by hate.
Mark, you're absolutely correct with that. And that's why today when I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, you make my point, Mark. I appreciate you calling in because the reason why I'm so anti-Charlie Kirk getting this award is because Charlie Kirk, he preached intolerance. He had bigotry in his speech. He talked about racial stereotypes. So, Mark, I 100% agree with you. We need to move away from that. And moving away from that is not honoring somebody like that. So, Mark, you are 100% spot on when you say that, and I appreciate your call. 833-212-1017. This is the Truth Talk and Text Line. When we come back, I'm going to continue this conversation asking y'all, what politicized you? I'm going to go down memory lane of what politicized me, and I know some of Rhea's political stances. I'm very curious kind of what politicized her. Let me tell you, she and my fiance, me and my woman, we be on the same, they be on the same wavelength. If Rhea get mad about something, I'm also getting a text message at the same damn time. I'm like, woo! I can't do it. But I'm going to ask what inspires you on the other side. Keep it live. You're listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
The Humane Animal Welfare Society, HAWS, believes in keeping pets healthy and families together. No one should have to choose between rent and veterinary care. The Wellness Clinic at Hawes Animal Shelter in Waukesha offers important basics of dog and cat care to our community. Pet owners can schedule general exams, sick visits, receive vaccinations, even get preventatives and nail trims. Appointments are available weekdays and can be scheduled by calling 262-542-8852. Contact Hawes of Waukesha today for your pet's care.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
And what are some of the ways that you're inspiring people? Because, you know, one of the biggest opportunities, in particular in the African-American community, is access, exposure, and awareness.
For Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin, we've been here 76 years.
Wow.
And our mantra is saving the lives you love. So if someone you love needs a blood transfusion and they're in any hospital in Southeast Wisconsin here, that blood's coming from us. And so we're trying to make sure that we're communicating that, because I think folks maybe don't understand that blood can't be manufactured. And summers are always tough because schools are out and we collect about 20 to 25% of our blood from schools. Mm-hmm. So it's always a day-to-day struggle. We say that the blood that's on the shelves is the blood that saves lives. And a lot of times people are compelled to donate when something bad happens. And our mission and our job is to educate folks so that we can get ahead of the curve and keep 3 days of inventory on the shelves. Mm-hmm. So we're in a decent spot right now, but we're on the streets every day trying to inspire people to join our mission. One of our big projects that we're proud of is Versity on King, which is part of the Thrive on collaboration in the Gimbel Schuster building on Martin Luther King Drive. And next year, we're going to open a destination center there. It'll be a blood donation center, but it'll be more than that, because we've realized that we can't be transactional with our relationships in the Black community. We need to do things that are intentional and that show that we're there to stay. But the reason that we're there is because not enough people that look like us donate. And so for disorders like sickle cell disease that disproportionately affect us, the race can matter. But I like to say that, you know, Black folks have a superpower in their blood. 44% of Black blood donors will have this rare trait that makes their blood more likely to be able to be a match for a sickle cell patient. And that 44%, like that is way higher than what we would find in other races.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Center update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series went to the defending champs.
The pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Went to a fastball about neck high, and Blake Trinan gets the final out of this ball game. A 2-1 final score in Game 1 of the NLCS.
The strikeout from Bryce Terang came with bases loaded. Game 2 in the best-of-7 series is tonight, with Shiba Yamamoto pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers against Freddie Peralta for the Brewers in the matchup of All-Stars. In the American League Championship Series, the Seattle Mariners took a commanding 2-0 series lead after a 10-3 win against the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday night. And on Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears moved to 3-2 overall with a 25-24 win against the Washington Commanders. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
One call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, all you have to do is make one call, that's all, to Gruber, and they will take care of you. I remember I got into a car accident, and I could depend on Gruber to make sure that I was good. My back was hurt, and I tried to contact the insurance company. They ghosted me. Gruber Law Office said, don't deal with them. Come deal with us. They made sure I got the therapy. I got my stim machine. I got what I needed in order to make sure my back was okay. And what I love about it, there is no fee whatsoever to call them, consult with them, or retain them as a law firm. In Truth Nation, you never pay a single penny until they win your case. So get with the winning law firm today with Gruber Law Offices by calling them at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visiting gruber-law.com. It's one call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am your host, Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue right here in downtown Milwaukee. And as we transition over, I really want to get into this conversation about what inspires you. I do want to go to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube, where you can also go to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. And Al said, isn't it funny how everybody got hurt feelings right now, but when they were saying all these degrading things and stuff about black people, they don't got nothing to say. And I 100% agree, is that a lot of times people have selective outrage. And that kind of leads me to the conversation that I wanted to have today about what politicized you. Because I found it to be interesting. Now, the reason why I thought about this is I've been on social media, and what I've been seeing is that they had these social media bros, influencer bros, last year during the election, and a lot of them were very pro-Trump, but there has been a movement of a lot of these famous influencers who are moving a little bit away or distancing themselves away from the decision that they made in 2024, away from some of the rhetoric. One of the white men that did this is Joe Rogan, who recently criticized ICE agents for their inhumane approach, as ICE agents have abused pregnant women, ICE agents have shot clergy members in their face, and even down to black children in Chicago being zip-tied in the middle of the night outside their apartment complex during a raid. You have also heard me discuss people like Marjorie Taylor Greene of late, and where she simply, is an ultra-conservative MAGA woman, but she's been pushing back on health care and the state of the economy, which is important for us to note. Even those who support Donald Trump are starting to push back or not be as strongly in support of him and question the direction we are going as a country, because what we are seeing is not the reflection we want to see when we look in the mirror, when we look at our country and we think about what the red, white, and blue is supposed to mean. So I asked everybody this personal question of what politicized you, because I'm very interested to know. What was the thing which first motivated you to have the political ideologies that you have? And if you're listening to the truth, you're listening to this station, that means that you do have a thirst for information. You have a thirst for conversation, dialogue, knowledge. You want to stay informed and up to date on things that are going on. You have a thirst for that. And you probably have some political, not leaning, but at least politics is something, or human interest stories or things that impact us is something that is on the front of your mind, or you have some type of lean. You want to know what's happening locally and nationally. So what was the first thing which made you decide to have the values or beliefs that you have? 833-212-1017. And again, I fully understand, for me, my upbringing played a significant role in my beliefs and the things, the way that I approach life. Again, I was raised by baby boomer parents who were the children of black folks from the South, rooted in the South. My grandma attended a Baptist church off of Sherman in North, almost right over there, Mount Zion Church. And I'm a proud member of a CME church that was founded by former slaves in the 1860s. So my roots and where I come from is rooted in the history of African Americans, whatever that trauma and greatness is. And especially when it comes to politics, a lot of that is rooted in what they believe. But I had an opportunity as I became older to figure out who I wanted to be. And I made that decision that whatever was going to drive me, it was not going to be about me first. It was going to be about we first, because that's what mattered to me. And I never understood how we could live in a world or a country, specifically here in America, that don't stand behind other Americans' rights. Other Americans' rights to the life of liberty, or I should say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But more importantly, I stand behind folks having a fair shake and a fair opportunity to live the life that matters most to them. That is something that matters to me, but I want to know what politicizes you, what motivates you, where do your values come from? 833-212-1017, Tom in Milwaukee. What started your political activism?
Let's see. First of all, let me say that I'm not a religious person any longer, but my political views and my moral views really all came from the 3 years that I spent in a Catholic grade school, 1967 to 1970. And, during that period of time, our church in Menominee Falls, Good Shepherd, was like the most progressive church in the area. We were all behind Father Grappi. We had like the first guitar masses, all that stuff. And from early on, I saw that, what we should all be about is, healing the sick, welcoming the stranger, feeding the poor, okay? Because if you do read, the New Testament, that's what Jesus preached. If you don't do that, you ain't getting into heaven. Now, I have evolved over time to just see how even if you don't believe all the dogma, that's the only way that we're going to survive as a human race, is to follow those principles. So, from then on, that's been my moral compass.
I appreciate you sharing that. I really do, Tom. Thank you so much for sharing that. A moral compass is something that I also use in my life, because I try to allow for my moral compass to guide me in the direction that I don't make all the right decisions, but I try to aim towards that. But the thing that really politicized me, and Rhea's a little bit too young for this one, she said, here you go again, is what cemented my political beliefs was during Scott Walker's time. He was a Milwaukee County executive, but then after that, when he became the governor of the state of Wisconsin, and watching this man run this state from such a selfish and power-hungry perspective and standpoint, it completely grinded my gears. Knowing that the decisions that he made about the corruption that he allowed, where literally people were charged with different things, computers being destroyed, gerrymandering of maps to rig and steal elections, was all I needed to know about folks on the other side. But on top of that, just overall caring for others made sense to me. It was truly that simple, just thinking about others. I support those who support others. I hate taxes. I've talked about it many times on this show. I can't stand taxes. I just looked at my check and I was like, dog, what in the hell? I cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. Some of y'all might have just gotten your property tax bill in the mail just like I did. I cannot stand taxes. But what I do understand is that this money, if it is used right, the money that I send to the feds and the money that I send to the state and the taxes that I pay, whether it's my taxes I pay on my income or whether it's the taxes I pay for my property or whether it's the sales tax that I pay, I understand that money, if it's used right, it's supposed to be redistributed to provide services and opportunity to help other people. And that is why I'm completely at peace with the taxes that I pay. Now, I disagree when they give themselves raises, and that's a whole nother story. But if my money is redistributed to those so they have the opportunity to have a social safety net for the elderly, or somebody can get a hand up to be able to help themselves, to be able to live their lives to the fullest, I am 100% for that. When I think about reproductive rights, and I think about the fact that I have talked about it on this show, I am not pro-abortion. If I had to make a decision, especially today, I am never having an abortion at this. I'm 35 years old. What in the hell I look like having an abortion at 35? If I lay down and do the deed, I got to take care of the kid. But again, that's me. It is not for me to tell anybody else what they should do, what family decision, what private decision they want to make. That's why I believe in choice. And when I think about the gun laws, I hate guns. Y'all know I've talked about it. I have never used a gun a day in my life. I'm just not a gun guy. I've never gone hunting before. And I don't believe we should take all the guns away. I do believe there should be some guns we don't have. But I just believe in the fact that we should have more strict gun laws, because here's the fact. Gun reform and more strict gun laws actually saves life. That isn't a debate. That is simply a fact. You can do your own research to find that out. That isn't my opinion. I believe in racial equity. Dismantling systemic racism in our society is something that is worth fighting for. These are the things that drive me politically. So those are the type of things that politicize me. 833-212-1017. What politicized you, and why do y'all think black people vote blue? Rhea, I do want to hear from you quickly. As someone, as I mentioned before, is definitely very, very political and has her beliefs and strong stances. What do you think kind of pushed you to be that way, that politicized you?
I did a report on a young woman named Cheyenne Webb when I was in elementary school, and she was a part of the Selma Walk in Montgomery. And that was what got me to the point of, like, I care about my people and what we do in this country. See, that is something just like that. Something just like that inspires you. And what I love, and this is, I'll be very honest. I'll be honest. I don't think, have I ever called you a loony liberal to your face? No. I've never called you one behind your back either. I just want you to know that. All right. I'm just saying because I tell my lady sometimes she be aligning with some of them loony liberals, and I know y'all align very much so, and y'all not like all the way out there. Why we gotta be loony?
That's the. And so what I'm saying is the one thing that I appreciate, and this is the reason why I vote the way that I do, is because the one thing that I appreciate so much about folks who vote blue, a lot of them, not all of them, because a lot of them want to vote blue until you move into their neighborhood, and they be like, wait a minute, time out. Too many Negroes around here. Too much color. So I fully understand that. But one thing I appreciate is that even your story of how you got politicized was you spoke with somebody who did the Selma Walk, who was fighting for justice, who was fighting for equality, who was fighting to be treated like a first-class citizen, not a second-class citizen, fighting for the rights of black Americans, and then it would trickle down to all Americans. That's what inspires you. You were inspired by somebody doing something for others. And that is the beauty of the reason why I support the things that I do. I don't agree with everything these folks do, but I can agree with that mindset, and I can agree with your heart. And that's the thing that matters the most to me. 833-212-1017. On the other side, we'll wrap up the show. We'll wrap up this conversation. I got Rhea to smile as well, so you know I'm happy. This is Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
I'm going to say something. I'm a conservative, as you know. I might not agree with you all the time, but even when I don't agree with you, you crack me up. And the other guy, he just pretends conservative all day. And you do make me think. But when you do better than anyone, you think on your feet.
Now that was a compliment coming from somebody who is as Trump-loving as he is, that can appreciate what we do here.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It's 101.7 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Gina Della and her team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always have the winning game plan. Check out the championship caliber play call this month. A whole house of beautiful, new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month, and get this, 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like running a drive that keeps moving the chains with no penalties and no interest. And I can tell you from my experience, Pella Windows actually stop the drafts. You'll stay comfortable no matter how cold it gets outside. Think about it. Energy savings, comfort, and a great monthly payment you can actually manage. That's why I trust Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and why this is the right time to make your move. Call today and schedule your free consultation at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 10/31 of 2025.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber
was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
The 2024-25 Buck season promises electrifying performances, unforgettable plays, and even more historic moments. Be part of it by securing your seats now at bucks.com/full. Buck season ticket members get the best pricing, premier ticket locations, and exclusive benefits. Secure your season membership and lock in your seats for what's sure to be an unforgettable 2024-25 season at Fiserv Forum. This era of Bucks basketball is something special. Get your tickets now at bucks.com/full.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
Truth Nation, the Truth Summit is coming back this year, and it's presented by 1MKE and hosted by the award-winning 1017 The Truth on Saturday, November 15th, doors opening at 9:30 a.m. with the panel discussion starting at 10 a.m. Last year was a phenomenal conversation, and I want y'all to come on and get another powerful conversation this year as well. Dr. Ken Harris will be leading a conversation highlighting, from the high chair to higher education, rebuilding Milwaukee's educational pipeline. He'll be joined by two superintendents, Dr. Terrence Robinson from West Dallas, West Milwaukee School District, and Dr. Brenda Castellius, superintendent from MPS. So make sure y'all come and reserve your spot by going to 1017thetruthsummit.com. That's 1017truthsummit.com for you to sign up for your spot for the second annual Truth Summit. Again, this is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I want to thank y'all so much for the conversation and y'all chiming in. Whether y'all text in, whether y'all call in, I truly appreciate y'all chiming in to this conversation. Somebody did hit me up on the chat line at 833-212-1017. His name was Mark. Mark said maybe they should give, Mike. He said maybe they should give the award to you for all the horse hockey you spewed. Kirk will be remembered for longer than your janky career. And my response was you're probably right, but guess what? You'll always remember me, Mike. Thanks for listening. I like haters. I always don't address haters, but I thought it was funny. I was like, thanks, I appreciate it. But Truth Nation, the last words I want to leave you with today, because if you're going to be like me, you're going to be annoyed by all the stuff that you hear about people celebrating Charlie Kirk's birthday, which I think is very undeserving. Not the birthday being celebrated, whatever y'all want to do, but the Medal of Freedom that the president's giving them tonight, which I believe is very undeserving. At the end of the day, I just want to remind people, don't live your life like that. Live your life with kindness. Live your life with love. Because it doesn't cost a thing for us to do what's right and for us to love one another. So think about doing more for others than doing for yourself, and I guarantee you will feel refreshed and good about yourself. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. Peace out. I will see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all, Truth Nation.
Come in with straight truth.
Everything got a message. I'll say this. Y'all can't be tired if y'all still messing with the negative energy every day.